Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm happy to announce that from this video we are starting our Docker's playlist where everything will be covered from start to end, step by step. So let's start with the basics of Docker. Now in this video we will be only touching the theory, the basic theory that you need to know to get started with Docker. And from the upcoming videos we will dive deep into it along with some code, and we will directly jump into Docker Desktop to see how things work in action. So let's start with the basics of Docker. Now, what is Docker? It's a tool. It's a tool through which you can create and manage your containers. Create and manage your containers. Now you might say, okay, I understood that we create and manage containers, but what exactly containers are? And the first image that might have come to your mind while listening to this word is maybe this. So this is a big box. I don't know what it is made up of, maybe steel, but this box is used to export and import goods. Now, the good thing about this box is that it is isolated from another box. Whatever you kept inside it, that is isolated from rest of the environment, and it contains everything that is needed for the good that is inside it to keep it fresh. For example, let's say we are exporting apples. Now, if I keep all the apples in this box, then it will have that cooling system or some kind of freezing environment that keeps the apple fresh. So it contains everything that the good needs, whatever you are keeping inside it, in order to transport it to another country. So this is what container is. Now, in tech world, this container is nothing but your code, which you can compare with the good or the apple that we will considering, plus all the dependencies that are needed to run this code. It can be tools, it can be packages, it can be other dependencies. So everything that you need to run this code will come under dependencies, and everything will be packed together and you will call it a container. So just like our export import containers where you have goods, let's say apples, and the cooling environment in order to keep these apples fresh. Same way here, you have your main item, that is the code, and all the dependencies that are needed to run this code. Everything will be there inside, packaged, everything will be packaged together, and this becomes a container. Now you might argue that why do we need containers? So for this, let's just consider a situation where, let's say, your manager tells you to build a Python application. This is you, and this is your manager. Your manager tells you to build a Python application. You spend your entire day and night building up that application, and you are happy with the results that you have got. The next day, you woke up and told your manager that you have finally completed that application. Your manager tells you to share the code with you, and you shared the code. Now your manager ran it on his own machine, and he got an error. It was not working for him. So he scolded you that why the code is not working. But it was working on your system. You showed him that it's working on my system. So the problem that you got to know after spending some time that you were using Python version 3.12, and the Python version that your boss was using was 3.9. So you wrote certain code that was compatible with the version that you were using, but certain part of the code was not compatible for version 3.9 because that was deprecated. It was not working. So that is why we need something through which we can solve the problem of it works on my machine. Because if I have written something that should work on everybody's machine, right? That is the sole purpose of building up applications. If you are building an application that works only on your machine, then there is no point of building that up. You you need to build a system through which whatever you are doing, others should be able to run it in the exact same manner, and the output they should get should be exactly what you are getting on your own system. So that is why we need containers. We need a way through which we can create an environment where you have everything that you need to run your application. And if you share this environment with other people, then they are also able to run it in the exact same manner as you were able to do it, and they are getting the exact same results that you are seeing on your system. So that is why this container thing solves this problem. It works on my machine. Now, you might argue that don't we have virtual machines? Now, the problem with virtual machine is that let's say this is your OS. So virtual machines are installed on top of your OS. So this is your virtual machines and they have their own OS. Let's say Linux here. So this is your virtual machine. What you will do, you will put your code here, you will install all the dependencies manually, all the tools that you need, all the packages that you need. And once the entire setup is done, now if somebody else wants to use it, they would have to create their own VM, use the same configurations that you used, do the exact same setup, and then they will be able to see the same result. Now, this is not the only thing. VMs are very heavy because they are using the same disk, they are using the same operating, they are running on the same operating system, and they take a lot of time to boot. So they are very heavy. We need a solution that is lightweight and that does not require that much setup. So that is where Docker came into the picture. Because in case of Docker, you have your OS, and the only thing that you need is a service through which you can manage your containers. So maybe you can download Docker Desktop. This Docker Desktop will have Docker engine that will spin up the containers, and this service, this application, this software is the only thing that you need to install. And if you compare it with VMs, these are very lightweight. And then you can spin up your containers. Now containers themselves are very lightweight if you compare it with VMs. So the entire setup is very simple. And let's say now the other person wants to use your container, then you just need to share an image with them and they will be able to spin their containers. Now it's okay. I haven't explained you image yet, but for now, the only thing that you need to do is share your image with them and they can spin the exact same container that was running on your own system. Now that we have talked about images, now let's just jump into it and understand what images are. So in order to understand images and containers with respect to images, I want to give you an analogy. So let's say you work in a car manufacturing company where you have a blueprint on how the cars are being manufactured. It contains every information that you need to know: what will be the dimension of the car, what color we will be using, what engine will it have, what wheels it will have, which company's wheels we will be using. It contains everything that you need to manufacture a car. It contains the entire blueprint. Now, from this blueprint, you can create as many cars as you want. So, if we talk about Docker, images are nothing but blueprints. It contains your codes, whatever dependencies are needed to run that code, what commands will be run when you will be spinning up your containers. It contains entire information that you need for spinning your containers. So this is the entire blueprint. Now the actual running instance is called the container. So once you have got the car, you can run it wherever you want it, right? Same way, once you have the blueprint, You can have as many containers as you want, and these containers are the running instance of that image. This is the actual running application, it is the actual running part, right? And this image, this blueprint can be shared with anybody. Once they have this image, they can simply spin a container with the help of service like Docker's desktop, and they will get their container running. It's okay if at this point things are not that clear, because I can understand this is your first time understanding Docker. So once we will move forward in the playlist, and once we will see things in action where we will be looking at the code, where we will be looking at Docker desktop, once you will see everything, you will be able to understand it better. But for now, just think it that way, that images are like blueprints through which you can spin as many containers as you want, and these containers are the running instance. These are the actual running part. These are the actual running application. Okay, and this contains all your code, all your dependencies. This image has all your code, all your dependencies. It's in a way tells that how a container will be when it will be spun. So I hope things are clear up till this point. And in this video, I'm not touching upon uh, things like I'm not touching upon the practical aspect of it. I will be covering that in the next video. I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of what Docker is, and we will see things in detail as we will move forward in the playlist. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you like the content that we put in. Thank you.